Now this button, the flex effects button, you have a flex effects button on each channel and even on both of the microphones. That's how you engage the effects section to that channel. And you can have effects on all channels at once or any combination of channels at once, as opposed to some other 4-channel mixers with effects that you can only have an effect on one track at a time. Your effects section is right here, and the way you turn on the whole effects engine is the flex effects on button right here. You turn it on, it'll light up so you know it's on. So now the whole effects section is on. I can choose an effect. Before I do that, there's a knob on the front of the mixer called Flex Effects Mix Level. You want to make sure that's turned all the way to the right. Otherwise, when you turn your effects on, you're not going to hear anything. Turn that effects level all the way up. Turn your effects engine on. Choose an effect like echo. Turn your level depth knob up a little bit to increase how much of the effect you're going to get. And now when I press this Flex Effects button, that echo is going to come in on that channel. Now you can hear that that echo is in time with the beat. I didn't have to tap anything out and make it on beat. It was just automatically on beat when I turned it on. As long as you have your BPM set in your tracks and Scratch Live, it's going to recognize that and automatically be on beat. Right here you have 2 buttons that say beat, one's pointing left, one's pointing right, or beat down and up. That will take the setting of your effect and cut it in half, like break it up or break it down. If you have a 1 measure delay set, you can hit the beat up button and make it 2 measures, 4 measures, 8 measures, 16 measures, or you can go down from 1 to half to 1/3 to 1/4, 1/8, 1/16 to make it shorter. And it'll still stay in time. So as I break this down, still in beat. The only time that'll lose sync and get out of beat is if you hit this tap button or turn the time knob. So you may be thinking, well, you know, if it's in sync, why would I want to do that? Well, if you're on the mic and you want the microphone effects to be in sync with what you're playing, the mic doesn't have a BPM set to it. You got to tap that in, so you can tap it in. But if you accidentally, you know, it's dark and you're not paying attention and you hit the tap button or the time knob, you're like, oh damn, like it went out of sync. What do I do? All you have to do, turn the Flex Effects button off on that channel and back on, and it's back in sync. So it's just as quick, off, on, and it's back on. Tap, tap, and you're back on sync. Another thing about the delay, let's set a little bit longer delay here. If I turn the level depth knob all the way to the right, that delay will keep going forever. And a lot of delays, every time it passes through, it adds to it, and it keeps building up and getting louder and louder. This one won't. So you can basically set a 1-bar loop, 2-bar loop, 4-bar loop, put your echo on, eject the track, and use that as a loop to mix something else on top of. You know, you can mix an acapella on top of that, throwing another beat, just use it like another track piece. And it'll only start to fade out if I turn the level depth knob to the left, then it'll start to fade out. But if while that effect is going, if I press the beat down buttons, it'll break that echo down in beat. It'll go from 2 measures to 1 to half to 3/4 to 1/4 to 1/8 and still stay in beat. So that's just another way you can get an extra loop out of something and free up your turntables to mix on top of that.
That delay, is it in the software or is it due to the...
It's in the mixer. All the effects I'm showing you right now are built into the mixer. So even if you weren't using Scratch Live and you're playing regular vinyl, you could use these effects.
So the SL3 effects are right?
Do what?
The SL3 effects are built in on the effect.
They're not, but I'm going to show you those in a minute too.
Yeah, I was going to say, so all the effects is inside the mixer now, not coming out.
The effects I'm showing you now are in the mixer. Yeah.
But you said if the BPM is set in the Scratch Live software, it would stay in sync. It'll still stay in sync if you're not using the Scratch Live software?
Well, if you're using regular vinyl, then you need to tap in.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at the effects. You heard the echo effect. Now we're gonna go to filter. Now with the filter and the flanger and the phaser, if you press down on the time knob, you can resync the LFO so that it'll always start like on the downbeat or whenever you want it to start the song. So it can always be exactly on the beginning of the measure or wherever you want to start it. can hear the LFO resync really good with the phaser. So if I set the phaser to like kind of a quick phaser, and press down on that time knob, you're gonna hear it restart. So you can also use it as a kind of a rhythmic effect if you set it short enough. Now another thing about the effects, I'm going to set the phaser to like a 4-1 phaser. It's a little long. I'm going to go to echo and set that to a really fast echo. A really fast echo. If I jump back to my phaser, it remembers that phaser was set to a longer phaser. So it's still on like 4 beats per measure. Now if I go back to echo, that's set to the quicker echo. So as you jump around from effect to effect, it remembers where you had it set. So you don't have to change effects and then go back to your echo and reset it to where you had it. It's going to know where you had it and it'll default back to that until you change it. And you can also use the filter knobs on top of the channels in conjunction with your effects. So if I have a delay going on my effects and then turn my filter knob, so it'll still filter that echo. Now, how many of y'all are familiar with the new software effects in Scratch Live 2.0? If you're not, if you look right here, there's a tab on my screen that says DJ Effects. Scratch Live now has software effects built into the software in the Scratch Live. So, let me set something up here real quick. Now, if you click on the DJ Effects tab, you get this panel that opens up here on the screen. You have 2 effects banks. Effects 1 and Effects 2. Each one of the banks has 3 effect slots. And right here in the middle, you see I have these boxes that say 1, 2, 3, 4 on each side. This is the 4-channel mixer, so I have 4 channels I can assign these effects to. What you would do is assign which deck or which output, which channel you want that effect to be routed to. So I have Effects 1 all going to all 4 channels, so it's going to be on either one of these. So now I'll put a delay on. Turn it up a little bit. Take my echo off my internal effects. So you hear that delay. But the thing is, all the delays on here are pre-fader. So when I move my crossfader out, the delay is going to go out as well. So my delay is going. If I just stop the record, you hear the delay. But if I move the fader, you don't hear any effect. It's not really what you want with certain effects like reverb and delay. And if you have a 68, go to your setup screen. Go to your plugins tab, go to DJ Effects, and you have a little checkbox here that says Enable 68 DJ Effects Sync. If I click on that, go back to my DJ Effects. Now you can see that box in the middle where I assigned it to a deck is gone. It's just one big effects bank with 6 effects in it. Now I can route that through the 68 and all the effects will be post-fader. So now when I take that signal out, you're still going to hear the delay and the reverb and whatever effect still tells off without the dry signal. The way you bring that in through the mixer, there's a button here that says USB 5 insert. You press that, and now those effects are routed through the effects engine. So now, when I move the fader, you still hear the effect continue. So that way, and you can add as many effects as you want. You have 6 effects. You can have the delay on, turn on like C phase, turn on the 2 mod sync. So now I have 3 different effects from my software effects running. Say I want to put on the reverb on the mixer. Now I have my software effects going, my hardware effects going. Still use my filter knob. Let's get another level of effect on there.